Hello. In today's video, we're talking about some material changes to the Kill Team Grand Tournament at Warhammer Fest that have me slightly rustled. So to set the scene, this has happened yesterday. I'm, sitting in my hobby room. I'm on my Easter holidays, one of the perks of being a teacher. And I'm painting up my Kazakin that I decided to pivot to, which if you're on the Discord, you've seen these work in progress shots, but now I have an excuse to share one with the world. Glass After produces a new video, and the Kill Team YouTube community is very incestuous. We all watch each other's stuff all the time, so I'll stick it on in the background while I'm painting. And then he said something that made me kind of whip round and look at the screen, and then you go, because you know how it is, you've got YouTube on and you're painting. At least this is my lived experience, and it's why I make such long rambly videos, is you just want something to kind of listen to, dip in and out of, but it's not. No one's watching this stuff on their TV in their living room, right? So I whip round, I reverse the video, and sure enough, he says that Warhammer Fest is all going to be open board. Well, that's wrong, right? Or so I thought. And that means that Andy's been wrong on the internet. So straight to the comments section to give him some engagement to say, actually, you've said this, but that's not true. You're spreading lies, is what I thought. Because I remembered what was in the player pack. Right? And this is still up. If you go and look at the Eventbrite page and follow the link to the Warhammer Fest website and go and find the packs and click on the pack and open the PDF, it says missions selected from the Critical Operations mission pack and Into the Dark. So 6 rounds with a mixture of missions from Into the Dark and the Critical Operations mission pack, which, for my money, that's fairly clear. So I'm really looking forward to the mixed format, right? Like, I've been saying it for a while. I think mixed format is the way to play the game. Is you're going to have two different formats like this. We'll talk a bit more about this in a minute, but if you're going to have two different kind of ways of playing like this, I think having a tournament where it's some of one and some of the other, that's how you're going to see what the best teams are and the best players are. It turns out that Andy was right and I was wrong. So a little bit of detective work. They sent out an email on the 4th of April, so last week. And it says, "Good evening, players. We're excited to see you in a few short weeks in Manchester. We've received a few questions regarding terrain. We will not be using Into the Dark terrain for this event. You can expect Octarius Terrain laid out closely to the diagram provided in the player pack. Missions and objectives will be emailed to you close to the event. However, you can be expected they'll be taken from the Critical Ops, TAC Ops mission and card pack. Thanks, Warhammer Events team." Now, I'd missed this email, not to throw Mrs. Tabletop Impulse under the bus, but I'd missed this email only because, she's the one who bought the tickets for this particular event, because I was at work, right? And amusingly, we thought that they would sell out in the blink of an eye, right? So she was buying them really quickly. Actually took ages to sell out the Warhammer Fest tickets. I guess Warhammer Fest wasn't that popular this year. I don't know. But we thought they'd sell out in the blink of an eye. And then there'd been some discussion on Glass Half Dead's Discord, or Glass Half Discord. I'd missed it. It's a big Discord. I love the Kill Team community, but I can't be everywhere reading every word in, like, my Discord, Glass's Discord, Crit's Discord, Battle Brothers Tabletop. There's a lot of Discords out there, right? Like, there's a lot of Discords out there. Command Point, I think I'm in all of them, notionally, but yeah. So I'd missed it, it snuck up on me, and I'm not very impressed. If you advertise something, you shouldn't be changing it like 2-3 weeks before the event to something else. And I don't think you can misinterpret this. I don't think you can misinterpret selected from the Kill Team Critical Operations mission pack and Into the Dark. Like, this has ramifications. Now, Games Workshop need to stop meddling with their formats at the 11th hour. This happened previously with the last Warhammer World Kill Team tournament I went to. Like, it got messed around with at the 11th hour. And you can kind of forgive it. Things happen. Train strikes happen. Terrain happens. Things happen. Internal things. But I don't go to a lot of indie events. Maybe I need to start because they seem like they're better run in a lot of regards. Like, I don't see this kind of stuff going on from indie events. They say what they're going to say, this is what we're doing, and then that's what they do. You buy your ticket knowing that you're going to go and do a certain set of things, and then that's the set of things that you go and do. And Games Workshop, again, just messing people around with their event nonsense. It's frustrating because I don't want to be one of these YouTubers that just bangs on about the things Games Workshop do wrong. But this is two areas now with their events stuff, and funnily enough, I love the events guys. I think they put on a really good show. It's just it's frustrating, lads. It's frustrating, and I hope that comes across. I'm not angry. I used the word rustled because I like 20-year-old internet memes, but it's very evocative of exactly how I feel. I feel out of sorts because of this last-minute change, because I'm not getting the experience that I assumed reasonably from your event pack that I was getting. I think mixed events are the best way to play Kill Team. I think that is, if you're going to have the two formats, you should mix them. I know not everybody agrees. I know that some people are like, well, mixed events are great in theory. If you had round 1 was open, and round 2 everyone was on Into the Dark, and then round 3 was open, and then round 4 everyone was on Into the Dark. But because of how tables and events are set up, quite often with mixed events, you could end up with some people getting 4 games on Into the Dark, and some people getting 4 games on open boards, depending on how the tables are set up. If Warhammer World ran it and it was kind of random like that, and maybe that's what they've realised and they want to avoid. But personally, I would have been fine with that. I don't think, if you prepare for the tournament knowing that you have a possibility of getting either kind of mission, and on the day you happen to get 4 of one or 4 of the other, I think that's fine. But I think having the chance, it changes a lot of things about team selection, about how much you need to worry about your roster. It's really rankled me. And it also means that Games Workshop failed to run an official Into the Dark event in the UK. I think the events team in the US have run some stuff on Into the Dark, correct me if I'm wrong, the official GW stuff, but they've failed to run a single Into the Dark event in the UK. And that's going to have a knock-on effect as well in the mind of players. When Season 3 comes out, if Season 3 has a brand new terrain gimmick, let's just be silly and say, Kill Team Under the Sea, or Kill Team on the Moon, or whatever it is. Well, if Games Workshop are showing with their official events that they regard the Season 1 stuff as the definitive way to play for match play, people are going to listen to that. People are going to be like, well, we kind of went all in Into the Dark, and some people loved it, but Games Workshop didn't really care about it, so what? It depends what you are and what you're aiming at, and people are always going to be driven by, local groups and local shops are always going to be driven by, if people are going to events, what kind of events they go to. So if you're going to go to a lot of independent events, if you are someone over in America, Kill Team Open was all Into the Dark. So obviously, certain communities are going to go their own way in this, but I just think it's poor of Games Workshop not to actually. If you've got people out there who are buying all this terrain for their independent events because they assume, all right, Into the Dark, that's what we're doing, and then you yourself as the company that can get the terrain for pennies, right? Because you can run the machine at cost price for your own events. I mean, I know Games Workshop don't work that way because they have to treat each individual part of the company as a cost and a profit centre. So they probably bill their events team budget for the trade price for the terrain so that they can then make some profit from themselves, because companies be this way. But I feel quite strongly that it doesn't need to be this way, and it shouldn't be this way, and Games Workshop really shoot themselves in the foot. Now, some people might consider that I've buried the lead a little bit here, because there's another piece to that email. We've received a few questions regarding terrain. We'll be not using the Into the Dark terrain for this event. You can expect Octarius Terrain laid out closely to the diagram provided in the player pack. What the hell? Right? There is a diagram, one, it's on the screen now, that was produced in that player pack. The diagram doesn't bear any easy relation that I can see to any Kill Team terrain. It looks like the images are from Cursed City or Age of Sigmar or something else. So are they now saying that all the tables are going to be laid out like this for all 6 rounds? So all 6 games you're going to be playing on the same table. And that's shit. I don't like to swear, but that's quite shit, isn't it? I don't know anywhere in any event whether it's a Warhammer World event, whether it's like a London scene event, whether it's one of the American events I've heard about. I do not know of any event which would be like, yeah, 2-day event, 6 rounds. You're going to be on the exact same table for all of those rounds, for all of those. Is that really what they're saying? Is that really what they're saying? Now, is this an attempt to be hyper-competitive? The game's scrupulously fair because every single person's playing on the exact same table, so there's no variables, so we will absolutely be able to mechanically know that the best player is the best player. Or is it just them being maximum lazy, right? And going, well, we lay out all the tables the same, and then we don't have to change them, we don't have to re-rack them, we don't have to think about them, we don't have to design more than one map. It really cuts down on the amount of work that we have to do as an events team if we're having all our tables identical, assuming that we already have all the Octarius Terrain. So, let's try and talk about this map that somehow relates to this Octarius Terrain. I am sorry for coughing down the microphone. I'm still a little bit unwell. Please forgive me. So, what do we assume then? That these big yellow boxes here are the kind of the squatter, more angular Octarius things here. So that's those two, right, dealt with. And then the green walls, well, there are walls, I mean, they're not all the same length. There are walls in Octarius. The trouble is there's 4 walls on the map here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in Octarius, we've got 1, 2, 3. So is there an extra wall? Are they dipping into another set? And then, if you imagine these blue squares are the 2 other, so these different shaped, these longer pieces. If you imagine those are these blue squares, fine. And then you're left with these 4 purple things. So, are these 2 smaller ones? Are these going to be like the really small scrap piles? Like this one and this one? I mean, they're quite differently sized as it is. But do they map onto there? And then these 2 squares, is one of these going to be the oil derrick? And the other one of these going to be the huge scrap pile? Is that what we're saying? That seems... I mean, those aren't equivalent pieces of terrain. Why are we putting on a really prescriptive map? But then the map lacks a key. I did year 8 geography, right? I would have got slated for doing a map without a key. The map has no key, so they're like, oh, it's Octarius Terrain, but the images don't look anything like Octarius Terrain. The shapes don't really match up what we get in a set of Octarius Terrain because there's an extra wall. Maybe there's 2. Maybe they're putting in an extra wall and everyone's getting 2 oil derricks, or maybe they're not using oil derrick and everyone's getting 2 big scrap piles. But we don't know. It's weirdly, we're giving you the information, so presumably there's people that want to get loads of practice games in on the terrain, right? So they can be absolutely cutthroat, bleeding edge, competitive, whatever you want to call it. But then they can't because they don't actually know what the terrain layout is going to be properly. But then they do, but then they don't. And then some people who are in the know might know more. It's frustrating, Games Workshop. I'm irritated. And I'm irritated. I spent only 15 minutes being irritated. It's the end of the video. Am I just going off on one, or do I have a valid point? Please, you be the judge. Let me know in the comments whether you think I'm being reasonable or am I being unreasonable. I'm still going to play in the event, right? And I'm still going to have a good time. For all this, I'm kind of getting out of my system. I am going to have a good time. It's 6 games of Kill Team. I like playing Kill Team. I like playing 6 games of Kill Team against strangers. It'll be fun. And ironically, this is not me moaning because I've got very few games. I got 1 proper game of Into the Dark, against Zimbad, and I've got 1 or 2 games against the children at the Warhammer Club in school. So I will do better with it all being on open world, especially because I'm painting up these Kazakin and I'm considering pivoting to Kazakin, and Kazakin feel like a team that will do much better on open boards than they will in Into the Dark as well. So, I'm not moaning from that perspective. Oh, I've done all this. I could have done. And there will be people out there that would have done loads of prep on Into the Dark in advance of this game. And now it's oh yeah, we're not doing Into the Dark. frustrating. If you like the video, give it a like. Give it a like. If you have thoughts, please write the thoughts in the comments. I love best part of the channel. I love the community engagement. Right. There is a Discord. You can join the Discord and find things out that way. Or you can, if you want to, you can become a member. Click on the join channel button, and there's a secret little extra video in there to advertise to you all of the supposed benefits of being a member and giving me a monthly stipend. That would be kind. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm really interested to know as well if anybody else is going to this event. Given the Round the Houses Way, which I found out about this change, has this video informed anybody out there about the change? Because this is not me having to go at people in their 20s, but if there's one thing I have learned, it's that, because I'm 36, people in their 20s don't read emails. Like, you can read articles about this and all sorts. People in their 20s don't read emails. So if they send out an email, like, I don't know to what sense there's a guarantee that people are going to know what's going on. Right, off we go. Have a great day, and I'll see you in a couple of days with a more jolly video, hopefully. Cheery bye.